From the Bakersfield Californian, this is the Renegade Report.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Renegade Report with the last of the Bowser Boys, Kenny Calvin. And on today's segment, we are joined by special guest, first-year head coach Richard Starrett from Centennial High School. How you doing, sir?
Man? Doing good. Glad to be here.
Man, it's an honor to have you.
Yes, sir.
Honor to have you.
Yep. I didn't know I was going to get some bling in my face today, though, with that big old ring.
Oh, some of your friendly competition.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
That.
That's right.
And that's one of the things that I joked about with you in the green room is the fact that my wife is a Centennial Golden Hawk graduate, and I'm a driller, and sometimes we have that inter-house rivalry.
Right.
So how has the experience been coming from Texas and getting over here to West Texas, as you call it?
Yeah, West Texas. Pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you. And the vast amount of support I've gotten, like I told you earlier, man, people have just gone out of their way to help me whenever they can, and people want us to be successful at Centennial, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, is to help make sure that is a continuing tradition, and it's going to move forward in that. And obviously, your wife is the smarter one of the two.
Well, she always thinks that. I don't have to cut that part out, Spencer.
Right.
No, but it's always friendly rivalries. We're very closely connected to Centennial.
Yep.
As I told you before, Don Kessler is one of my favorite people in the world.
Right.
He works over there in equipment.
Yes,
his son, Cody Kessler, great kid.
Yep.
They do so much for the community. They've taken players from all over the city and assisted them with transitioning into higher levels of athletics by bringing them in their homes to live, and help change lives. So you're surrounded by some great people, great community members. So how has the experience been from a staff standpoint with welcoming you on?
It's a thing that, and I'll be completely honest with you, coming from Texas, which, we're known as the high school football state, and, there's some of the things that we think we're probably more superior than we really are. And I've been very impressed with the knowledge of the guys. I've done a lot of interviewing, met a lot of guys around town, just networking with as many people as I can. There's a lot of football knowledge in this town, and there's a reason why people are prideful in the football from Bakersfield, and it's been a great experience just meeting people. Interviewing, but just meeting guys around town, trying to connect with as many coaches, former, past, present, and just making sure that those guys understand that, I'm here to, we're going to compete on the field and we're going to work against each other, but this is a network and it's a group thing, man. And ultimately, football is about kids, and we all want what's best for kids.
Absolutely. And Mr. Clark, who hosts Open Up, hit the nail on the head right as he walked off. Coaches change lives.
Exactly.
I was an Arkansas college guy, and I spent basically the second half of my college football career playing in the South and largely playing in Texas and going to some of those high school games on Fridays before we played on Saturdays.
Right.
And when I had that experience, it felt like home because of the nostalgia and the community support that exists there was so similar to what I experienced as a player and later on as a coach at the collegiate level here in California. So I'm excited to watch you. I was excited to see that they brought a coach in from a different area to give, because, we're local guys and you want to see local guys get an opportunity. But, hey, you can't have local guys at every school. You have to venture out and see who has the best opportunity to be the best fit, and if that worked for the hiring committee, it works for us as a community, and we're going to support you.
Yeah, and I myself am not from here, but it's been publicized quite a bit that my wife is deeply rooted in the community. I mean, her entire family is still here within a 15-mile radius. Everybody lives pretty much somewhere pretty within 15 minutes of Centennial. So I'm deeply rooted in this community just from coming to visit for the last 6 years.
Absolutely.
And I didn't make this decision blindly. I completely understood Bakersfield. I understood the football scene. I understood what I was moving into, and so it was a very educated decision to come out here for sure.
Beautiful, and just like you said, I read that your wife was from here, but I was going to allow you the opportunity to segue into that, and it's like you're married into the Bakersfield culture of football,
exactly.
and in West Texas,
Yep.
And just having that opportunity, it makes it like this isn't a very new experience for you because you do have those community ties. You're not coming in just blindly to where you have to build all these relationships by yourself.
Yeah.
You have some support and some
No doubt
help.
about it. And, I'm traveling back and forth still from Texas. I still technically live there, and I'm coming back and forth. And just to have an in-laws place to stay instead of staying in a hotel, that's been a great help right there. So it's almost like I'm living here already. That's awesome. And then just having community support. I mean, just from the first day I drove to Centennial, at least I knew what Hagman and coffee was. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know the area a little bit,
Yes.
so I knew which way to go. And I know it's hot in the summer. I think I've been told that at least 50 times. People want to let me know how hot it is. Well, I'm used to it.
You're used to that
Yeah,
Texas heat.
exactly.
Texas heat can be a little bit more excruciating because you got the humidity as well.
Exactly right.
We don't get the humidity.
No, I think it's better here, to be honest with you. So
Yeah. Trevor's teasing me about getting a little light. I don't tackle people no more, Trevor, but I remember being in Arkansas and Texas and how much weight I lost that first 90 days from humidity. It was
No
like,
doubt about it.
oh my goodness, this is crazy.
Yep, it's
you
serious.
So when I came back home, it was a little more relaxing. So,
Right.
we talk support.
Yep.
So let's talk about staff.
Yep.
So where are you as far as, getting the staff that you want, and are you trying to maybe talk some of your Texas guys into coming west, or are you building relationships locally?
I'm building locally. I think, and what I've done is I've interviewed as many people as I possibly can, and I'm trying to get, a good balance. I want some young guys with some energy and enthusiasm to go out there, but I also want to have some people that have done this before in this town, that have the experience, that know people, that know how things work, because it's obvious someone needs some help and some things like that, and that's okay. So I think I'm pretty much hired up, and I think I'm surrounding myself with some good people and some people that have the same goals. That's in a staff. It really takes people that have the same viewpoint as you do on things. You don't have to do it the same way. You don't have to coach the same way, but ultimately you have to think the same way.
Absolutely. And trusting your leadership. Making sure you're putting the right guys on the staff that aren't going to be subordinate. Even though as a great coach, you want people that are able to voice their opinions and have strong opinions, but ultimately I need guys that are ready to follow my lead because I got a great idea on a plan and I need you. So
and the excitement level, since the surrounding of the excitement of somebody new, I think has been an advantage to me, because I've done things a little different just because I'm, from 1,000 miles away. So things are done a little different where I'm coming from. Doesn't mean they're better or worse, but I'm going to do some things a little different than have been done at Centennial in the past. And I think ultimately it's going to lead to some success. And now, does that mean day one tomorrow, or does it mean, down the road? I don't know. We're going to worry about today, and then we're going to work from there. And I think it's going to be a really good situation.
I agree, because, we talked about that in the green room as well.
Yep.
Handling what's in front of you. I work in social services as well,
Right.
As an administrator of a youth facility. And I talk to clients all the time about not worrying about what's so far down the line. Focus on what you can do today to improve as a person, and then everything else falls in place. I think when players and coaches take that same approach, it gives them opportunity to not put so much pressure on themselves to be thinking about championships, for 5 years in a row. Let's work on being great today, and then it comes with the territory.
I got 61 kids right now that show up every morning at 6:28, ready to roll, and we get after it, and we work on making sure that we're good for that time we have allotted right there, and then we're going to get back after it after school, and we're going to do the same thing, and we're really just worried about today. And I think that's building. It's already, I know it's been a short time period, but I've gotten to work with the kids enough now that I've just seen vast amounts of improvement in the small time, which is great. I'm working with kids that are moldable. They're willing to do what I ask them to do. They're bought in. I joked with them the other day. I said, man, you guys are so bought in. If I told you to go pick a couple of blades of grass and eat it because it'd make you a better football player, they'd do it. Just because, they're that type of kid, and they're ready to go to work, and they're excited about it.
Man, I'm excited for you. Just thinking about the opportunity to come in and establish your mentality on kids who are wondering what direction they're going to be going in, what kind of guy they have coming in. It sounds like you have a great plan outlined in front of you right now.
Yes, sir. And it was a long process as far as when Coach Brown stepped down and to now when I got hired. It was a lot of time for the kids to sit and stir a little bit. You know how that goes when they don't have a leader in charge necessarily for that long. There's some things that go one direction that they probably shouldn't. But from the day I walked in and introduced myself, it's been nothing but buy-in. The kids are excited. we do things differently now than they've done in the past. So whether it's better or not, they think it's better because it's new. It's new. Just like I'm out there on social media all the time. Follow us, G-Hawk Football, Twitter.
Gotcha. I'll follow you today.
There you go. But just posting some of the things we do. I want the community to see. This is really ultimately about the community. You send your kids to a high school and you expect them to get a first-class education, which you're going to at Centennial High School,
Yes.
and then you expect them to whatever they do as far as extracurricular, they're done the right way and they're led by good people. And, I'm a leader by example. I'm going to do things that the community expects me to do in the position I'm in, and the kids are going to learn from that. And that's the ultimate goal in this thing.
I agree. I like the sound of that, Coach, because, before you even get into the X's and O's, you got to make sure you're the right kind of person to be able to lead people. And it's one of the funny things that I talk about that I work in social services. We have so many social workers or people who go to school to get a degree in sociology, yet they graduate and realize that they don't like people, and you're not built for working in society.
Right.
Maybe you should have went and picked up a trade because you don't like people. Being coaches, we have to be the kind of people who can navigate a room, walk in a room, and establish control to be able to get our message across.
No doubt about it. And I'm a people person, so I got my accent, and I hope to keep it while I'm out here. And I just like talking to people. I like hearing people's experiences.
Yes.
And, it's an old adage, and it's so true. Go through every day and try to learn one new thing, and that may be from a person you did not expect to learn one new thing from. And it might be learning from their bad experiences. But learn something new today, and you never know who that person's going to be to teach you the new thing.
Well, you hit the nail on the head from my perspective, because my mantra is I've learned so much from failure in my environment that I learned from their failure. I didn't have to fail. I saw it happen.
Yep, exactly.
And that way I was able to navigate and get around those issues without having the same issues. So I don't know if you're going to do this, Coach, but X's and O's.
Right.
What's your philosophy? Are you a spread coach or heavy run? Just trying to, because I'm a former coach too. I'm wondering, hey, what's coach's philosophy?
It's funny. It's because I've been asked that a million times since I've been here. I think everybody wants to know. And you can go back. I've been an offensive coordinator now for 10 years, so people have gone back and looked through my huddles of my last schools, and what you're honestly going to see is a different form of the same offense almost every year, because I'm going to build it around what I got.
Gotcha.
The one thing that as a non-negotiable to me is we're going to run the football, and we're going to find ways to run the football. And so now how we're going to do that is not necessarily the same every year, but we're going to find ways to put our kids in a good situation to run the ball.
Absolutely, and that's a great answer to that question, because there's many ways that the football is ran now. It's not like it used to be when I was a player 20 years ago, where you're going heavy and big and just pounding the football 60 times a game. You got guys going, 4 wide spread, running out of veer, pretty much all the time out of passing formation. So you never know what you're going to get.
We have a 9-team league that I'm in Texas, and 2 years ago, we were the number one rushing team in that league, rushed for over 2,000 yards, and then the last 2 years, we've been the number one passing team in the same offensive system. It's just we're going to build it around what we got, and if people want to stop the run, we'll throw it, and if people want to stop the pass, we'll run it. And so people sometimes make this game more difficult than it really has to be. There's a lot of ins and outs and technicalities to it, but ultimately it's about getting the football across the line.
Man.
Do it how you got to do it.
You know what? You remind me of my late coach, Jimmy Red Parker, who died about 6 years ago, and we were a heavy veer option run team in college, which I played defense, and we hated that based on the fact that we felt like we were on the field too much.
Right.
But coach's philosophy was football is played 1 inch at a time. So we're going to run this football until somebody tells us that we can't run the football, and then maybe we'll throw. But until that point, we're going to keep running the football.
Exactly.
So it sounds like the same mentality.
No doubt about it. And the thing is defense these days is pretty difficult to play, man. It really is. People are dynamic. The offenses are difficult to defend. So the less the defense has to be out on the field, to me, is a positive. So running the football keeps that clock moving, sets up the deep ball. And so really do those things on offense to help the guys out on defense. Put people behind the clock.
Well, Coach, sounds like you got a solid philosophy, and I can't wait to see it. Also, just like I told you, we give away thousands of pairs of shoes to players who need support. So, I know you got Don Kessler over there, and he was one of our biggest sponsor donors for our cleat drive. But if you ever need extra support from a shoe standpoint, you got a kid that showed up without a pair of cleats, you give us a call, and we'll take care of that, all right?
Yes, sir. Awesome program.
All right.
Awesome
Well, hey,
program.
Coach Starrett, it's been an Awesome opportunity to have this time with
Yes,
you.
sir.
Can't wait to let my wife know that I met the new leader
that's
of
right.
her alma mater.
Yep. So
on the
we'll see
gridiron.
both of y'all at the games, right?
Absolutely. You'll definitely see me at the game.
Yeah, awesome, man.
I'll be there to support you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this has been Kenny Calvin and Coach Starrett from Centennial, first-year coach by way of Texas. Just moved to West Texas, a.k.a. Bakersfield, California. We'll be right back after the break with BC equipment guru Peter Maglieri right after this.